A nanny fail, the boys go missing, but she does have a date. Nick Hornby's quirky adaptation, Love Nina, coming right up after your Friday night favourite here on BBC One with some strong language.
So have I got news for you? I'm Catherine Ryan. In the news this week, there's a product recall from Cow & Gate after evidence emerges that their rusks may contain steroids. On Newsnight, journalist John Sweeney delivers a report on BBC Cuts without realizing that he himself has just been sacked. And intense training begins for those police officers who are going to be on duty at this year's Notting Hill Carnival. On Ian's team tonight is a comedian who's currently in a Sky One comedy about a dead-end non-league football team. It's tough week after week going out to a tiny crowd, but that's Sky One for you. Please welcome Joe Wilkinson. And with Paul tonight is a writer and broadcaster who recently wrote a book called The 7 Secrets of Happiness. Number 5 is Don't Get Stuck in a Lift with Giles Brandreth. Please welcome Giles Brandreth. And we start with the bigger stories of the week. Paul and Giles, take a look at this.
Yes, the Beatles getting back together. There's only 2 of them left, though, unfortunately. I don't know what that is.
I think that's going to be... No, it's going to be Boris. Oh, yes. Doing a tryout for Top Gear.
It's gone very black and white, and that's the new Top Gear season starting off. They're test driving the new Ford Shed.
It's about the European Union referendum. Nobody knows which way it is going to go, and nobody knows quite which way it should go. All we do know is that it will mean the end of the world.
We're inviting Armageddon, then?
We are inviting... If we vote exit, apparently, everything will collapse.
Yeah.
Already, Barbara Windsor has committed suicide on East End in anticipation of Brexit. Our houses will be worthless. There will be a third world war. It's going to be appalling, so totally appalling. But, of course, if we say in, we will then be overwhelmed by 200 million people a week arriving on our shores. Most of them apparently from Turkey, but not delightful.
Yep.
I'm amazed you're not the spokesman for both sides.
I feel in a way that I am. I'm ready to be. Because the truth is, I know that we don't know. Because I have been there before.
Well, you've been a Tory MP?
Yes.
And you know they know nothing.
Can I say... The truth is... But the truth is, nobody knows anything. And I do remember 20 years ago or so, we went through all of this, and I was actually in the Treasury on the day that we came out of the ERM, standing at the back of the crowd with the present Prime Minister, David Cameron. We were office juniors. And at the beginning of the day, there was this thing called the exchange rate mechanism. It was all part of joining the single currency. We were all in favour of it, or we were against it.
It's not the one show. You can use some bigger words.
Don't interrupt Giles while he's doing his one-man show. I nearly missed it. I took a while to park the car. Off you go.
The point of the story is this.
Yeah.
The exchange rate mechanism, we're in it, but do we want to be in it? 20 years ago, we go into the office one day, and the markets seem to think we don't want to be in it. Well, as the day goes on, we find the markets are acting against us. We put up the interest rates from 9% to 10%, to 11% to 12%, to 13%, up to 50%. Nothing is happening. We're banging the top of the screen. The point is, at the beginning of the day, we didn't...
I can't stand the tension. What happens? What happens at the end of the day, Giles? What happens?
The point is, at the beginning of the day, we didn't know what was going to happen.
No.
While it was happening, we didn't know what was happening.
No.
And when it had happened, we didn't know what had happened.
Bit of bad news, they've just had the referendum.
Yes. This is the disappointing news that according to both the Leave and Remain camps, if we vote against them in the EU referendum, the world will go to hell in a handcart. Now, what were David Cameron and George Osborne doing at B&Q?
This is something about they would hit DIY. You know, people doing little jobs around the house would not be able to do it if we leave Europe. All the hammers will have to hand it back.
And the alphabet we have known for 1,000 years will lose the letters B and Q. This is the kind of effect the Brexit will have. Everything is going up the spout.
And so imagine the difficulty for them because they can't sell barbecues anymore.
I think it was worse than that. It was a metaphor. They said this is a DIY recession.
Oh, yes.
We'll inflict it. So you do a picture with DIY, and everyone goes, oh, that's very annoying. But that's it. I mean, it's recession, it's 800,000 jobs going, your house will be worth less. The odd thing about that is that all around the country, young people are thinking, oh, good, a collapse in house prices. Yes, we're going to vote Brexit. It's the first time they've actually twigged where the young vote goes.
Cameron and Osborne drew a small crowd at B&Q, but for context, there were 3 times as many people in the next aisle staring at plasterboard. What were David Cameron and George Osborne basing their warning of the recession on?
Well, it was an independent Treasury report commissioned by David Cameron and George Osborne with the brief, scare the hell out of everybody. And it was a set of figures they'd put together, which nearly everyone has said are probably not true.
The statistics from the Institute of Fiscal Studies, or whatever it was, the one that came out this week, it then turned out that this same institute was receiving several million a year from the European Union.
Yes.
So the trouble is we can't really trust anybody because the hyperbole has become hysterical.
And they all quote, they say, well, there's the IMF, and then there's the World Bank, and there's the EU. All these people have said stay in, but all those people said there's no trouble with the financial system, it's fine.
How is Britain's Stronger in Europe campaign hoping to appeal to young people?
Robotics.
They've got a poster. I saw it and thought it was brilliant. It says, tour in, hang in, chill in, vote in. I hope that laughter's at the poster.
I think you're appealing to young people right now. It's not just a poster. They've produced a video using language they believe young people will understand. Specifically, they've removed the G from a few words. Let's see it.
Should have been one of the words that came up. Spelling.
We don't just lose B and Q, we lose G as well. The whole thing is a nightmare.
Ian, the question I'm most interested in, chillin', roamin', ravin', movin', present participle, or gerund?
Gerund. Interesting. Depends how you use it, I think.
So what?
Just on its own.
Gerund is a free-wheeled vehicle that was very popular before the invention of horses.
What's happening? Why are we talking in a different language?
Well, in grammar terms, we're parsing.
What's happening? Seriously?
Meanwhile, over in the Brexit camp, how are their efforts to woo young voters going?
It was with a pop concert, wasn't it? They tried to start a pop concert, but even the 52-year-old boy band Five didn't want to do it. And if they're not doing it, something's going wrong. They mainly do Village Fates.
I'm glad boy bands are pulling out. One Direction could learn a lot from that.
So they got no young people to play?
Well, they've got Nigel Farage, who does a sideline as a techno DJ.
Under what name?
It's called Farage music.
Farage. Oh, great! pro-Brexit concert has been organised at which East 17 were due to perform. There's only one thing you need to know about East 17, and that's that singer Brian Harvey once managed to fall out of his own car and run himself over. Not even the EU have got a rule to stop you doing that.
Given that people have known this campaign was coming for years, you would have thought that both sides would have got their arguments better lined up and would have more effective advertising than they have.
I don't feel like I've seen a coherent argument from anyone.
You haven't.
I'm really confused.
You should be.
What should I do, Giles?
Go back to Canada. You don't want people... because we will all be joining you, because we will be forced out of our country by the tens of millions, the hundreds of millions who are going to arrive here any minute, the moment the borders come down.
We'll be travelling, escaping, roaming.
Please don't come to Canada. With Trump, we already have Americans threatening to come in. And we've got to now build a wall. Americans are not as physically fit as Mexicans. It won't have to be a high wall, just a little... a speed bump should do it. Ian and Joe, take a look at this.
That's a woman. I think that's the same woman. Yeah, that's her again.
A different hair, though.
Different, yeah. Quite a big, can I say that, big bum? There's a fella she's with. Nice fella. Did I get it right?
Was this one of the bigger stories of the week?
What is the story?
Kimberly Kardashian.
Yeah, that's it.
She's in London, and I know this because my missus was telling me about her. And I feel bad for the girl because we shouldn't really be making fun of her because I just found out she hasn't got a job. And you know how hard it is when you're unemployed. And if she's watching, I've got a mate who works in a Bovril factory and he says there's work going, so just give us a bell, might be able to sort something out. And it's cash in hand, so you can still sign on.
So, what is the story about these people?
The rumour is that she is going to be Donald Trump's running mate.
Ooh.
It's hot. It's a hot story.
So it's hot because you've just made it up. It's fresh.
It's fresh. It's new minted. You're right. It's that hot. It is that
very
hot.
straight
It
off the
did
press.
just come to me.
Yeah.
But don't you think it's marvellous casting?
So if her and Donald Trump are together and somebody says, what an arse, we don't know which one they're talking about.
That's it. Trump and the rump. You can see the posters.
You can see the posters, you can.
This is the massive mainstream news that Kim Kardashian actually came to London this week. Why was she here?
Is that difficult, coming to London?
They've got a lot of wide-body jets these days. There's no problem getting across the Atlantic on a plane.
It's a fascinating family. I find the whole thing completely gripping.
Why is it so exciting?
Because we have nothing like it in our society. The nearest we get to the Kardashians is the Crankies. A Scottish, you won't know them, it's a Scottish family.
I know the Crankies.
You know the Crankies?
Why do you talk to me like I was just born? I lived here for 10 years.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realise that.
It's all right. I like it, kind of.
Good, well, we love that. We're very, very happy to have you, and I'm sure the
Thank you.
Brexiteers and the Remain people will make exceptions in your case.
Yes. As I am an Irish citizen. Go on.
You're an Irish citizen?
I am, but it's for another day, Giles. We'll have lunch.
Now I've heard
You
that.
don't know what you're saying. You've no idea. The trap opens up and the poor innocent walks in.
I promise this has a political angle. How did Labour's Harriet Harman get behind Kim Kardashian, which is an excellent hiding place, by the way?
She presumably said that Kim Kardashian was a role model and a marvellous figure and we should learn a great deal from her. It's usually what politicians say when they're asked about someone they've never heard of.
Yes. Harriet Harman called Kim Kardashian brave and pioneering, like Malala, but with a sex tape.
She didn't object to Kim putting out into the ether selfies of herself slightly scantily clad, even though Harriet in her time has not liked pictures that objectify women.
Page 3 was male editors using young girls as fodder, she claimed. I get the sense from the Kardashians that they're going to make their own decisions and make their own way in the world. To which a viewer called Sarika responded, Kim Kardashian has not made her own way in the world. She was born into a wealthy family. The rest of us, men and women, just worry about paying the taxes to pay for your magic money tree, Harmon, you disgrace. Ian, I feel like I haven't given you enough opportunity to show your knowledge on the Kardashian family, so I will give you a point for every Kardashian sister you can name.
Just move on. Let's just move on.
I didn't actually know she had sisters. I'm just getting over the fact that Kanye West isn't a constituency.
Could have had Courtney, Chloe, Kendall, Kylie. All spelled with a K. Yes, it's exciting.
And do they have children that start with a K?
No, Courtney. All right, Courtney.
There's a child they're all very fond of who they call Special K. And they look after him. He's lovely, comes through. How are you?
You know what? It's a dynasty.
Yeah.
And it's kind of worth learning about. I think they've earned their place at this point. I can see that.
But
No one
what
else
the
agrees.
fuck do they do, Aaron? How have they earned their place? What do they do?
In other Feminews, where did women narrowly fail to break down a sexist barrier?
Oh, golf.
Oh,
Yes.
well done.
Oh, thank you, Giles. This was Muirfield Golf Club. They've refused to have women playing golf.
That's it.
And therefore they can't have the Open Golf Championship there.
And there was some famous golf commentator who said if women want to come to the club, they should marry a member.
Peter Alice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, top BBC golfing commentator Peter Alice told The Telegraph, if you want to join, get married to a member. The wives can use all the facilities at the club for free. The clubhouse is full of bloody women. They love going there for nothing. Does he even know how competitive the marry a rich old white guy market is? Like, how many Jerry Halls do I have to punch in the tit just to get a free gin and tonic?
Do women actually want to join this club? I mean, they sound ghastly.
They sound awful.
Not a member of a club yourself, old boy?
A member of a couple of clubs.
Yeah, tell us.
Is it the Alzheimer's League?
Would you like to see an example of the great male dignity that needs to be preserved in golf courses?
Yeah, please.
Look at this.
Drank a lot of water. I really have to go. People are waiting to tee off, and there's no restroom out here.
Guys, how many times has this happened to you? Come on, you know you can't hold it in that long. Don't worry, I've got the perfect gift for you. Introducing the Euro Club, the discreet sanitary solution for your urgent relief. Created by a board-certified urologist, it looks like an ordinary golf club, but it contains a special reservoir built into the grip to relieve yourself. The Euro Club comes with a special towel to keep your privacy. And it appears to everyone that you're just checking out your club. At first it seems comical, but believe me, when you really have to go, it's a lifesaver.
But the clubhouse is only about 100 yards away.
It's going to be too far for him.
And he's got a club car.
Yeah, what's your handicap? I keep pissing into my golf club.
Would you use a Euro Club, Giles?
I wouldn't, but I'm rather alarmed. The only time I went to a golf club in Scotland after we'd been around, the man I was playing with opened up his club to offer me a little celebratory snifter. Oh, dear. Well, there we are. I just thought it was a whiskey that had gone off.
And so to round 2, the one-armed bandit of news. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Here's the first one.
Is this Kim Kardashian? Looks like her. It's not her.
Not quite.
Is that one of the sisters called Cushion?
Joe, do you know?
I think she bought a cushion on eBay and it turned out to be one for a doll's house.
It wasn't eBay, it was Wish.com. Yasmin Zerti was disappointed with some pillows she purchased online. Here's what she ordered on the website for what she thought was a bargain, £10 to finish off her new bedroom perfectly. And here's what was delivered. What invention was in the news this week that might have stopped Yasmin making a rash purchase?
A shop where you can go in and see what you're going to buy?
And then a person approaches you in a uniform and asks if they can assist you.
No. And then tells you what the price is, and then wraps it up for you, and it helps you take it home.
Only in the world of Tolkien could such a thing
No, she might have used one of these, a new wristband that gives bank customers an electric shock when they overspend. The zap from the wristband can range from pleasant to slightly uncomfortable. Would you find that useful, Joe?
No, not when I've had a drink. It'd have to taser me. How much is it to buy?
Well, it's £130.
Hilarious. Well, there's your first problem. It started going off as you're buying it.
Time now for the odd one out round, your 4R. A Rubik's Cube, Thomas à Beckett's elbow, Mark Zuckerberg's dog Beast, and Harry Houdini.
Well, I know Thomas à Beckett's elbow has turned up again in London.
I think the experts are a bit divided. Some say it's his arse.
It's a bit of him.
Yeah.
It's a famous relic of St Thomas à Becket, and it was taken from his original interment and taken to Hungary. And I think that might be the link, because Rubik was Hungarian. I'm guessing that Harry Houdini wasn't called that originally.
No, he's Hungarian.
And that dog... Do you know anything about the dog?
The dog is a different nationality. The point is 3 of them are Hungarian and the dog is Pomeranian.
Is that a Pomeranian?
Yeah, I think so. Heavily disguised as something else, but it is underneath a Pomeranian.
Well, Thomas à Beckett's elbow can't be Hungarian, can it?
No,
But it was in Hungary.
Oh, I see, it was in Hungary,
things
right.
that have travelled from Hungary.
Ah, yes.
Yes, they all come from Hungary, apart from Thomas à Beckett's elbow, which, as you said, Ian, was taken to Hungary following his murder in Canterbury Cathedral in 1170 and is now being returned, though only for a week. The Rubik's Cube was invented by a Hungarian and is possibly the only thing to entertain children in the 70s that hasn't since been locked up. How did one Chinese Rubik's Cube fanatic try to impress a girl recently?
Speaking to her. he made a picture, a portrait of her. She's got a very square head, and he made a portrait of her. Yeah, that's for you.
Yes, Paul.
Yes?
Yes, a 27-year-old, Tong Aonan, spent 72 hours making a portrait of a girl he fancied out of Rubik's Cubes. Here it is.
Oh.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well done.
I do stuff like that. It never works.
Well, you're right. His efforts were not successful.
Oh, dear.
Poor Tong. Don't worry. That strong wrist of yours won't go to waste. Mark Zuckerberg's dog, Beast, is a Puli, a breed originating from Hungary. Oh. Here he is, being exploited on Instagram.
Is it really a dog?
Sure the end of the mop just hasn't come.
Sticking with the Zuckerberg family, what reason does Facebook founder Mark give for always wearing the same outfit?
He's boring.
Easy, just so you don't make any decisions every morning, just put on the same thing, something dark, so it probably doesn't need washing that often. Don't need to think about it, just wear the same stuff.
Mark Zuckerberg said, I feel like I'm not doing my job if I spend any of my energy on things that are silly or frivolous. Like this man.
I read this story. It's Giles. He's given away all his bears.
Have you?
I've given away all my teddy bears.
Oh, how many did you have?
More than 1,000. I've collected teddy bears all my life. And I began with one teddy bear, and then I acquired a few more, and then I acquired a wife.
This could be long, this bit.
You're right.
So why are you getting rid of them then?
I'm getting rid of them because my children, frankly, are not interested. I'm only here tonight earning money because of my children.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that's keeping me in touch with them. And now...
Do you have actual children, or are you referring to the bears?
No, no.
One of the bears in the Brandreth collection is the original Fozzie Bear from The Muppet Show. Known for his terrible jokes and fondness for bow ties, Giles Brandreth is 68 years old. Time now for the Missing Words Round, which this week features as its guest publication, the Journal of the Writing Equipment Society. And we start with, after taking what, Barack Obama could what on holiday?
After taking the Viagra, Barack Obama could be a handful on holiday.
After taking an auto pen stylus, Barack Obama could sign legislation on holiday. This is a story that President Obama has an auto pen stylus, a pen which enables the user to sign documents even when they're not really there. And when it's President Trump, he'll be able to sign documents even though he's not all there. Next, what puts pandas off mating?
Oh, hairy back.
David Attenborough padding about.
Is it bamboo?
Yes, Ian, too much bamboo
I knew it.
pandas off mating. According to a recent study, the bamboo causes digestive problems, which can ruin the mood. Other things that put pandas off sex include almost anything on Earth. Next, thanks to bacon-scented shower gel, what?
You can smell like a sandwich.
Thanks to bacon-scented shower gel, men no longer have to go through life smelling of vanilla, lavender, or jasmine. On the downside, men with sensitive skin have reported coming out in rashers. Next, if you what, you can expect long periods of disappointment punctuated by instances of joy.
If you support Leicester City.
Is it if you are alive?
Oh, Ian. If you search for pens in the flea markets of France, you can expect long periods of disappointment punctuated by instances of joy. Next, what says man found naked in chimney?
Thank goodness you didn't light a fire.
Hello, I'm Santa.
Hide and seek went wrong, says man found naked in chimney. This is an American man who had to be freed from a chimney after getting stuck in there with no clothes on. After police grabbed him, they asked the man if he wished to say anything, to which he replied, "You're it." And finally, Gordon Brown, astonished to discover he's what?
One of the Kardashians. Popular.
80% gravy.
I think that's right.
It is the Gordon Brown who was astonished to discover that he's a Viking. Gordon Brown took a DNA test to explore his ancestry. For the DNA test, Gordon Brown was asked for a sample of his saliva, which he produced as soon as he was shown a photo of Tony Blair. In a similar DNA test, Tony Blair discovered he was a son of a bitch. So the final scores are Paul and Giles have 4 points, Ian and Joe have 7 points. But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
You didn't look like that on Grindr.
On which note, we say thank you to our panelists, Ian Hislop and Joe Wilkinson, Paul Merton and Giles Brandreth, and I leave you with news that it's sad times for one commuter as the Royal train speeds past the platform while Kate is changing Charlotte's nappy. In a World Cup qualifier against the Philippines, North Korea deny they've made any attempt to influence the result. And as the referendum campaign gets dirty, Boris Johnson reveals a photo of what he claims is David Cameron's screensaver. Good night.
And Martin Clunes takes the hot seat for the last of I Got News For You of the series next Friday night at 9. Now back to the 80s, and Nina's nannying skills are called into question as the boys go missing. Nick Hornby's drama Love Nina continues next. Then cozying up on the sofa after the news, Matt LeBlanc and Kate Beckinsale among Graham Norton's guests later.